Death is not the end. Science calls it the cessation of biological function. Islam calls it the beginning of Barzakh, a realm between this world and the next, where the soul awakens to a reality beyond matter. Modern physics tells us that energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. The Quran revealed this truth 14 centuries ago. The soul transitions, it does not extinguish. In the grave, absolute isolation begins. Neuroscience shows that during cardiac arrest, the brain enters a hyper-lucid state, a surge of gamma waves that defies our understanding of brain death. A sudden transformation begins. The body starts its physical decomposition. Cells rupture, enzymes cascade, atoms return to the earth. But the soul enters a dimension that quantum physics is only beginning to glimpse. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said the grave is the first stage of the hereafter. Science now reveals that at the moment of death, the brain fires a final surge of gamma waves, a burst of heightened awareness. The soul is not fading, it is awakening. The temperature within the grave shifts. Thermodynamics tells us that entropy increases. Systems move toward disorder. But the soul experiences something opposite, a crystallization of awareness, a sharpening of perception that no physical law can explain. A heart closed to light in life now faces consequences. Neuroscientists have found that prolonged negative emotions physically rewire the brain. The spiritual state shapes the physical state, and the grave reveals what life concealed. What we call consciousness may not be produced by the brain at all. Dr. Penrose and Hameroff proposed that consciousness exists at the quantum level, and quantum information is never truly destroyed. For the righteous, the grave shifts from a cramped space to an expansive horizon. Einstein showed that space itself can bend and expand. The soul, freed from the body, experiences dimensions of reality that our three-dimensional senses cannot access. The Prophet said the grave can expand as far as the eye can see for the believer. Modern cosmology reveals that space itself is stretchable. So why should spiritual space be any different? A profound sense of clarity washes over the soul. Near-death experience researchers like Dr. Samparnia have documented patients who, during clinical death, reported heightened awareness, seeing and hearing with crystal clarity while their hearts were stopped. A fragrance that reminds the soul of the most beautiful gardens it ever visited, or a scent it instinctively recognizes as peace. Science confirms that smell is the one sense that reaches memory without any filter. The first mirror of the soul arrives. The Prophet taught that two angels, Munkar and Nakir, question every soul in the grave. Science searches for consciousness beyond the body. Could these beings exist in dimensions our instruments cannot yet measure? The environment transforms to reflect the individual's spiritual legacy. Quantum physics reveals that the act of observation changes reality at the subatomic level. The soul now observes itself, and reality reshapes around that truth. In life, we asked, where is the soul? Science could never find it in the brain. Islam always answered, the soul is from the command of Allah, from a realm that transcends the physical universe entirely. The interrogating entities appear without warning, transcending physical boundaries. String theory proposes 11 dimensions beyond our perception. Munkar and Nakir may move through dimensions that our three-dimensional science is only beginning to theorize. Names reflecting their specific roles. Munkar, the denied, and Nakir, the unknown. These are not names of comfort. They signal that what follows will strip away every illusion the soul has built in life. The soul grapples with a reality it can no longer deny. In near-death experience research, subjects consistently report encountering beings of light who ask profound questions about their lives and choices. The Quran describes these angels as ones who ask questions that pierce the very core of the self. Neuroscience shows that near death, the brain replays memories in seconds, a lifetime compressed into a moment of ultimate truth. The resonance of thunder. Their voice reverberates through dimensions we cannot hear. Science has discovered that the universe vibrates with gravitational waves, ripples in space-time itself. Sound exists far beyond what human ears can detect. Their presence suggests a nature beyond the physical realm, born from the deepest shadows. Dark matter comprises 27% of the universe, invisible, undetectable, yet undeniably real. The unseen world is not fantasy, it is physics. Science estimates that 96% of the universe is dark matter and dark energy, invisible to every instrument we possess. The Quran speaks of the unseen, al-ghaib, as a greater reality than the seen world, an unmasking of the true self at the final boundary. The ego cannot survive in this space. Only truth remains. The soul stands before beings who see through every mask it ever wore. Near-death researchers have documented a consistent phenomenon, a life review. Patients see their entire life unfold, every action, every word. Islam revealed this process 1400 years ago in the questioning of the grave. The soul stands before beings who already know the answers. They ask not to learn, but to test. Can the soul hold firm to what it claimed to believe during life? Quantum entanglement shows that particles once connected remain linked across any distance. The soul was connected to its body, to its deeds. That connection is now laid bare before these questioning angels. The interrogation is not about knowledge. It is about alignment. Did the soul's actions match its beliefs? Cognitive science calls this cognitive dissonance. The grave reveals it with absolute, undeniable clarity. Every excuse dissolves. The Prophet said a person's deeds will either comfort or torment them in the grave. Psychology shows that suppressed guilt manifests physically. The body keeps the score. In the grave, the soul faces it all. The interrogation begins. 3 questions that determine everything. Who is your Lord? What is your religion? Who is your prophet? Simple questions, but only if you truly live the answers. Who is your Lord? Cutting through the complexity of life to find the soul's bedrock. Neuroscience shows that belief shapes perception. The believer's mind has been wired by a lifetime of worship and remembrance. For the righteous soul, the answer rises like a reflex. My Lord is Allah. No hesitation. The neural pathways of faith, built through years of daily prayer, fire with effortless clarity. An answer that rises effortlessly from a life of purpose. Studies show that deeply held beliefs, repeatedly practiced, become automatic responses. The 5 daily prayers were never just ritual. They were preparation for this very moment. But for the one who worshipped the idols of this world, wealth, status, power, the answer stammers. Modern life is built on distraction, the smartphone, the screen, the endless scroll. These were the real gods many souls served. The private truth, what you worshipped when no one was watching. Behavioral science reveals that people behave differently when observed, but in the grave, every atom of the soul is observed. There is no hiding anymore. What is your religion? The second question pierces deeper. Was Islam just a cultural label? Or was it lived? Did fasting discipline the body? Did charity purify the heart? Did prayer connect the soul to its creator? Compassion, justice, and truth as the ultimate guide. Evaluating the direction of one's life choices. Every step toward Allah in life becomes a bridge of light in the grave. Neuroscience shows that moral decisions activate specific brain networks. The righteous train these networks every day. The hard right path. The Prophet said the path to paradise is surrounded by hardships. Neuroscience confirms that discipline rewires the brain. The struggle of worship builds spiritual muscle that no ease can ever create. And the third question, who is the man sent among you? The answer must come from the heart, not the tongue. For the believer, Muhammad, peace be upon him, is not just a name. He is the model of every choice, the weight of a lifetime condensed into a single moment. Near-death researchers consistently report that beings of light ask, "What did you do with your life? How did you love?" Islam's three questions mirror this universal reckoning, revealed centuries before science documented it. Recognizing the truth, reflecting on the guidance provided during life. The Prophet said, "None of you truly believes until I am more beloved to him than his family, his wealth, and all of humanity." The breaking point for the soul whose answers are weak, the grave constricts. The pressure is not metaphorical. The brain's stress response during trauma is well documented. The soul experiences this confinement as an absolute, inescapable reality. But for the firm spirit, the answers flow like water. A lifetime of sincerity has built a fortress that no interrogation can shake. The soul stands firm, not because of intelligence, but because of sincerity. The firm spirit? The grave reacts to the truth of the spirit's life. Quantum physics shows that the observer affects the observed. The soul's state determines the reality it experiences. A garden of light or a prison of darkness. A vast, illuminated horizon opens. The Prophet said, "The grave of the believer expands to the size of paradise." The soul, freed from physical constraints, experiences space in ways that Einstein's relativity only hints at. Science shows that near death, the brain may release endorphins and serotonin, creating feelings of peace and expansiveness. But for the believer, this is not a chemical illusion. It is a glimpse of the divine reward that awaits. Immediate reaction. The environment reacts to spiritual discord as darkness and pressure intensify. The soul that denied truth in life now faces a reality shaped by that very denial. Darkness it chose, now made manifest. A natural consequence, not punishment imposed from outside, but the natural result of a life turned away from its source. Like a plant denied sunlight withers, the soul denied divine light decays. Science calls it entropy. Islam calls it the consequence of deeds. The soul's vibration. Everything in the universe vibrates at a frequency. String theory proposes that particles are vibrating strings of energy. The righteous soul vibrates at the frequency of truth. The corrupted soul at the frequency of discord. The Prophet described how the grave can be a garden of paradise or a pit of hellfire. Modern science cannot measure this, but it also cannot measure consciousness, cannot measure dark matter, cannot measure 96% of reality. The limits of our instruments are not the limits of truth. Words versus deeds. On the tongue, faith is easy. In the grave, only deeds speak. The Prophet warned that a person may say what pleases people while his heart holds the opposite. In the grave, the heart speaks, and the tongue is silent. The shape of life. Your deeds manifest as a physical presence. The Prophet said a person's good deeds take the form of a beautiful companion. Psychology calls this the externalization of conscience. The soul now sees its own actions standing before it. For the righteous, a beautiful companion from a life of sincerity. For the wicked, a grotesque reminder of a life wasted. Every prayer and charity shaped this companion. Every lie and sin shaped that one. Science shows that habits rewire the brain. In the grave, that wiring becomes a living companion. You see, the reflection begins. The grave does not lie. It only reveals what life concealed. Science explores the mysteries of death. Islam has already mapped the journey. Prepare now, before the questions come.